MyMac Podcast 865. Holy crap. News?
Hi everyone and welcome to this week's mighty MyMac podcast. And first of all, I would love to say, but I'm not going to. No, I'm going to. Thank you to Carl for last week, who, everybody, is still in pain. I heard the back and forth this week, and he's struggling through. He really needs the help of his co-hosts.
Did his bicycle like just fall apart?
Yes,
under him?
Just completely. You know how big he is. You know how big he is.
Yeah.
He's bigger than you, I think, and it just collapsed below him, and he's struggling because I think he fell quite well. He's got a long way to fall, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, I know what that's like.
Those penny farthings are quite high, I've got to say.
Well, here's
why
the
he was riding a penny farthing, I don't know. Other than possibly he's got really long legs. I think
when you're as tall as Carl or I is R is M, then when you start to fall, it's like you can be, okay, I'm falling. I need to start a boiled egg. And you know that the egg will be cooked
absolutely.
before you actually hit the ground.
But when you hit the ground, I think the 515 from Euston actually was derailed in the process of that happening.
It's like, what the hell was that?
Anyway, no matter what some may say, what I was going to say was thanks to Carl for coming on if I haven't said it. No matter what some may say, there is no such thing as good or bad news. It's just news. However, the lack of news lately has been maddening, pun intended. So the announcement of an event on Tuesday, September 14th, fills our hearts with glee, sunshine and rainbows. That is good news.
Yes.
What's been going on in your world this Mac week, Guy? Because, I don't know where you've been, what you've been doing, or, how your heart has been filling with glee.
Well, it has been pretty much filled with glee. I really needed a break. So the wife and I, we took a trip to Pennsylvania. And for some people, they'll sit there and say, so you needed a break from bad stuff and you went to Pennsylvania. To those people, I say, foo and foe. Pennsylvania is a wonderful place to be. It's just where I needed to kind of kickstart my heart.
Island.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that last week. It's like you're at a beach and it's like, this is the most boring place ever. Why would people go there? Why would they go there? Anyway, it was just what I needed to kind of get rid of the blues that I've been feeling lately. Of course, as always, not everything went to plan. And the caverns that we were going to Indian Echo Caverns, and that we wanted to go there, it was flooded out because of Hurricane Ida. So we couldn't go into the caverns. The corn maze that we were going to do was hot, sweat inducing, and nearly gave me a bad sunburn. And Apple Maps sent us past every single corn farm and Amish and Mennonite horse and buggy that was capable of forward motion. And here's the funny thing. We discovered that many of the activities that we had planned, we had actually already done like 10 years ago, proving the adage that you don't have to constantly do new things. You just have to space it enough so that you forget you did it the first time. Oh, and we also played a lot of putt-putt golf. We somehow managed to get in 3 courses of putt-putt golf, and we regret nothing. Nothing, I say.
Brilliant. I like it.
What about you?
Well, what mic is Guy using today?
I am back on the Shure SM7B broadcast dynamic microphone.
Okay, brilliant. I'm sure you'll put a link in the show notes for people to go and bore themselves looking at that. Anyway, it's been a busy week. having visited family, done some volunteering and a midweek rugby match, I again don't seem to be spending much time on MyMac. However, we did receive some feedback, which I'm not going to put in the feedback section. I'm going to talk to you about it now because it's from Mr. Gary Apter. And it's a link for you, Guy, which I've put in the show. You don't need to push this out to everyone else unless you really want to.
Okay, should I open the link?
No.
Okay.
Not now. But basically, it's a link to The Verge, and it basically says the start of it is how to get great audio for podcast interviews.
Why would I possibly be interested in that?
Well, one of the sections is should I buy a mic? Because you might be using your phone. What kind of mic would you recommend? And here's where I'd like to ask you a question, Guy. Have you got Audio Technica's ART 21000?
I do.
Or 2100. Okay. Well, that's one that's recommended.
That's a good starter mic.
Do you have the Shure MV7?
No.
Do you have the Electro Voice RE27N/D?
Oh, I want one, but no.
Okay, so there are two mics out there. You see what you've done, Mr. Apter. All you've done is put recommendations for Guy to spend more money. It also then says, if I'm using a mic, what's the best way to set it up? I can assure you, Guy can write a damn sight more than I can see on this page about setting up a mic.
Though I do want an RE20 and an RE27. Both from Electro Voice.
There you go.
That would cost me a lot of money. But actually, you know what I'm actually kind of looking at right now?
No.
There's a new
Face Care
audio interface from Tascam. And it's kind of like, now you've heard people talking for like the last year about the Rode Podcaster, that great big mixer.
Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
This is a lot like that.
Right.
But it's from a different company. And it's different. So
you've got more money than Mike Sense.
I have no sense. No sense at all. When it comes to audio gear, it's like I've got this Yamaha mixer over here that I don't use. I've got this Behringer gear down here that I don't use. I've got a box full of microphones behind me that I don't use. I keep coming back to the same two microphones, the high LPR 40 and this SM70.
There you go. So stick with one and let's move on. Guy, can I jump into the Ordnance Survey and how it all began?
I dare say you can, sir.
Okay, last week the last couple of weeks we spoke how the Ordnance Survey moved forward into the digital age, and with it the first computerized large-scale maps appeared, and how Ordnance Survey became a fully civilian and more commercial operation. So now we're moving into the early 2000s up to around 2014, 2015. So more products were launched with innovative uses for mapping data, which became available to more people than ever before. Brand new headquarters were officially opened in Southampton by the Duke of Edinburgh, and OS data underpinned the hugely successful London 2012 Olympic Games. On September 4th, 2000, Vanessa Lawrence was appointed the first female Director General and Chief Executive, forming another milestone in the organization's long history. What are you finding funny?
Funny. I'm preventing myself from saying anything.
Okay, well, that's good. The following year, OS Mastermap was launched, an intelligent geospatial database offering definitive, consistent, and maintained referencing to more than 460 million man-made and natural landscape features in Britain. Customers' information could now be integrated into it, held as separate layers, or linked to other Ordnance Survey map products. In April 2009, construction began on the new head office, which I referred to earlier, Explorer House at the Adanic Park on the outskirts of Southampton. It was officially opened, as I said, by Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, on 4th of October 2011. With the new building came the outsourcing of warehouse operations and the end of more than 200 years of in-house printing. Large-scale maps had not been printed at Ordnance Survey since geographical information systems became commonly available, and we will finish off this period next week.
And would that be the last part of the?
No, we've got one more bit about
Okay.
the little bit from around the mid 2014-15 period up to now, and then I'll get onto the next app. Though I'm not going to go quite as deep, Guy. I just found the history of Ordnance Survey really interesting.
Chances are, whatever app you pick next doesn't have its history going all the way back to the wars between England and France.
No.
Probably not.
Probably not, no. However, we're now moving on to Gaz's snippets. Apparently, Guy, Germany wants Apple to update and repair phones for 7 years.
Yeah, you going to hold anybody else to that standard, Germany?
Yes, they will. No. They're not. This isn't just about Apple. So but it's obviously the highlight is Germany wants Apple to update and repair phone for 7 years. Now, actually, Apple will go, oh, yeah, so what? However, other companies might be going, But
we only have 16,000 different lines that we would have to do that for.
And they fall apart after 3. On the Rocks is the first Apple TV Plus movie to be released on Blu-ray, now available for pre-order.
Blu-ray. That's some kind of technology. Is it?
Yeah, I think
I'm going to have to Google that.
Well, I think I'm going to have to go into the history of it. So that'll take the next 4 weeks.
Oh, that's going to take ever.
Being James Bond is a documentary which is now available to watch free on Apple TV, apparently.
Ooh, I'm going to watch that
yet myself. Yep. Apple hypes next week's iPhone 13 event with AR portal experience. Have you seen it? Have you done this? I linked on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was kind of like, wow, look at that. Right through that little Apple logo. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Did you look at the side? Did you scroll around?
Yeah.
It's really thin.
Yeah.
Anyway, 6.1% of iPhone users in America use Apple Pay for in-store payments. That's pretty good.
I do.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm not an American. I do. iPhone 13 hash Apple event. Hash flag is now live on Twitter following the official announcement.
But well, the thing is, they haven't said that iPhone 13 is what the event's going to be for.
Well, no.
So there's no official announcement.
No. Well, no. What they're saying is Apple event hashtag.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just an Apple event hashtag.
Okay. Apple.
The company that have said it have said Apple hypes next week iPhone 13 event. So they've preempted it, you see.
Okay.
Apple shares a hit. Apple shares hit new all-time internet. Apple shares. Sorry.
Would you like to begin again?
Apple shares hit new all-time intraday and closing highs. Last week we had 3 of these. This week we've just got 1, which is now $156 and $69. Ford, the little blighters, has hired
found
away.
On road dead.
Ford has hired away roadkill. Is that what you just said?
No, found on road dead. That's FORD.
Ford has hired away. Fjord.
It's a new car.
It's a new car from Ford. They've hired an executive leading Apple's car project.
But don't get wet. I don't know.
Yes, Ford is hiring the head of Apple's car project away from the iPhone maker. A stunning development that brings the 118-year-old automaker an executive with Silicon Valley chops. What?
It's been a while since I dragged that out.
And I think that was about timed right. Doug Field is coming aboard. Now, I have a feeling that Doug Field has suddenly realized that they're not doing a car, they're doing a service. I told you all. You heard it here first.
Whatever this project is, I'm sure he knew going in exactly what it was.
I think he didn't know enough, but what he did was step out of Tesla, and then he's moving into Ford as well. I think the bunts that have probably been thrown his way were quite provocative and yes. Anyway, Apple TV Plus announces 3 new shows for kids and families coming this autumn. Or,
the fall.
Apple's planned App Store changes will barely affect the company's bottom line, says analyst. Anyway, survey, Guy. This is a survey. 10% of customers apparently plan to upgrade to iPhone 13. I've got a tip on that coming. I've got a tip on that. Don't put your hand up. The UK government backs Apple and wants to scan encrypted messages for CSAM.
Okay.
But
they've already backed away from it. So
I know. Well, for now. Apple once again tops the COVID-19 brand intimacy survey. Now, I put that in, and I meant to read a little bit more about it.
Yeah, because the statement makes no sense.
I was a bit concerned. For the second year in a row, Apple has ranked first as the most intimate brand during COVID-19. I'm scratching my head.
Yeah, we kind of are. What?
Intimate?
Does it vibrate? What?
Oh, careful. I've lost my space now.
You're thinking about a vibrating Apple device.
Apple and Norfolk State University team up to deploy 5G iPad Pro and accessories to all students.
That may or may not vibrate.
Look, will you let it go? Because then it can
if
do it on the floor.
Could, I would.
VMware Fusion for M1 Macs apparently is now available as a private tech preview. I'm saying that this is all getting a bit... Anyway, Microsoft Teams. Now, I've got a couple of things about this. Microsoft Teams is adding CarPlay support for joining meetings while on the road. Okay. Sorry, officer. I only had the accent because I was on a meeting.
I was very angry at marketing.
And they always jump into these meetings and they always say really silly things. And I was very angry. And that's why I crashed.
It's their fault.
It's their fault. Yeah, don't use this while you're driving, folks. I get why they're adding it to CarPlay so that you can interact while you're stationary somewhere out on the road. But don't use it while you're driving.
Just go to the office or sit at home.
No, I get it. Some people, I quite like the idea of that. It's just the thought of people using it while they're driving.
People have enough trouble driving without being distracted by meetings.
Oh my God, I've got to find a place to stop for the meeting. I best go really fast. Woo, woo, woo. Did you know you were speeding, sir? But I was trying to get to a meeting. I was trying to find a safe place.
Then go ahead then. You're fine.
Yeah.
We forgive you.
Apple hires a new leader to reform its bug bounty program amid complaints from researchers, apparently. Apple Watch chief Kevin Lynch is now leading the Apple Car efforts, Guy.
Oh, well, things should be happening
now. They'll be on time.
Ooh.
After new law in Korea allows third-party payment systems in apps, Epic wants Apple to release Fortnite for iPhone again.
Or they could tell them to go jump in the lake.
Epic Game asks Apple to restore Fortnite in South Korea following the ban on in-app purchase requirement. I'd like Apple to say, perhaps we won't.
No.
Apple fires the engineering manager, Ashley Javek, for allegedly violating company rules. Now, let me just see. I'm not sure whether I can actually find what. Do you know about this?
I'm not sure how much I can say.
Well, apparently he was leaking private corporate information.
She was. And she was bashing the company on their
See, Ashley could have been a man's name and Ashley could have been a female's name. I went for the male and I was incorrect, apparently.
No, it's a woman. Or she's a woman. Sorry. I actually really said that wrong.
Yeah, he's a woman.
No, actually, worse. I said it's a woman. So
Well, no, that's better
Hands
than
up.
saying.
Sorry, that was
That's
not what I
better than
intended
saying
to
he's
say.
a woman, though.
Yeah.
Surely.
Well, these days, what are the rules? What are the rules, Gaz? Are there rules? Are they just made up as we go along? Apple has a in-house messaging system, like a Discord kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she spent a lot of time bashing Apple in this in-house system. And I guess a lot of the project managers were like, why are you doing this? And I mean, I have not yet heard everything that was being said, but she has made it very, very public. So the fact that Apple finally just kind of said, okay, you know what? There's no winning here, and we're paying her a salary. So let's just stop doing that and let it go to court.
Apple obsoletes 16 gigabyte 5th generation iPod Touch. Oh, Guy has one and he's throwing it in the bin. Several Apple products currently experiencing delayed shipping times. Dun dun dun.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay.
I've just got to put a Y in there. Revamped Apple Maps rolls out across Italy, because if I'd just said Ital, that wouldn't have sounded very good.
Yeah.
The Apple Irish data center plans seemingly revived after being abandoned, apparently. It's not so good, is it? I've got one more story which came in after all of these. Apple describes the Epic Games ruling as a resounding victory for the App Store.
Yeah, except actually nobody really won.
No.
Nobody got everything they wanted. And that's honestly, that's the best result you could have for something as long lasting as this, where it's like, okay, I don't get everything I want. You don't get everything you want. Let's just keep doing business. Except
absolutely,
if they don't let Epic or Fortnite back in, I'm okay with that too, because they're a bunch of whiners.
And that is the end of Gaz's snippets. However,
no, that's not going to do it.
It is going to do it. That's not going to do it. It is going to do it, because I do have a Gaz's link, but I'm not going to put the link in. Because it's not worth it. It's just a link to a story about the fact that all 4 main UK mobile carriers have now broken their Brexit roaming promises and will now charge you roaming charges in Europe, folks.
I'm keeping it.
Precisely. And that is the end of all the things I have to say for the moment. Oh, by the way, no. Now, actually,
there's more.
Yes, well, there is, because Carl ended one of his Mac and Forth, or this last week's Mac and Forth show. He almost ended it by saying "stand by" to stand.
Oh, did he?
And he went, "Oh my word, what's going on? No, I've been infected."
Oh, that's funny.
I've been infected.
Here's the thing: when he was on with me, and it's a failing of mine, where I kept going, okay, you remember how we do this and we do this? It's like he's only been on the show like 100 times, practically the third host of the show, and I'm sitting here going, okay, well, now what we're going to do is this and this, and there'd be like silence for 5 seconds. And then he'd come back and say, you do realize I've been on the show before, right?
Yeah. The one thing I say to him at the start of the show is, you've been on before, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Take us out, Guy, before
everyone
we forget how we finish a section.
Yeah, there's a thing that we say.
Something about buying standards. I don't know.
Buying standards to buy standards, and back will come from somewhere.
I think you got it right.
Yeah, I think it's good enough. And welcome everyone back to the MyMac.com podcast. We really appreciate the fact that you're here and that Gaz and I are going to live forever and be bad examples for podcasting for the rest of eternity, because that's what we do best. We provide ourselves out there.
We're a service. We provide
as a bad example. As bad examples. That's us.
Well, I think we're a good example of a bad example.
That's true. I'll go along with that.
There's a slight nuance in that process, Guy, which you have to be aware of.
It's like, okay, I want you to listen to this podcast
because
and
it's
then
a good
not
example.
Do anything that they do. Take
other than
notes.
the consistency bit.
Yes,
because they do just keep going.
We're like the Energizer Bunny. Dum 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 dum. All right, Gaz, I don't know if you've heard this.
What?
There is an event next Tuesday.
Now, I'm just going to say something here.
Sure.
Yes, I do know.
I would hope so.
Event. Well,
does
you
anybody
say that.
not know?
Well, the funny thing is, Guy, I didn't know until yesterday.
Oh, now, were you out doing stuff, or?
Well, yes, I've been busy. You know, as I said previously, I've been busy doing stuff, and a few podcasts have kind of hinted that there's something happening, but it wasn't until yesterday that it suddenly went into my head that it's next Tuesday that there is a special event. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in myself, if I'm honest.
Why?
Well, because I should have known instantaneously when it came out.
Well, sometimes the antenna on the back of your head gets loose. Doesn't make a connection.
Perhaps it fell off and someone's restuck it in for me and I didn't realize. Anyway, as there's going to be an event.
Yes. We're going to talk about it.
You're going to talk about it. Cool.
Yeah. Pretty much the general consensus is that it's going to be mostly phones with maybe a few other things thrown in. So we're talking the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, and they may throw us a curveball and call it the 12S. According to
they won't.
No, I don't think they will either. I think the S models are done.
Yeah.
They're talking pretty much the same sizes as they are now. 5.4 mini, which still cracks me up if that's a mini. A 6.1 inch 13 regular, 13 Pro, and a 6.7 inch iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is that's a big ass phone. Now, are you thinking about updating this time around?
Well,
did you update the last time?
No, I didn't.
12?
No, I didn't. I didn't go for the 12. So I'm still on the 11. So I'm kind of, I've got lather coming out the sides of my mouth waiting.
Well, you know what I'm on, right?
Well, you're on the SE, aren't you?
I'm on the SE too. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I'm a bit. I think one of the things last time I got a bit fed up with, because let's have a look. What is the model version here? This is the iPhone 11 Pro, but it's not the big one.
Right.
Now, this one still had the 3 cameras. Okay. So it still had the zoom on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they went to the 12 and then they changed it so that the slightly smaller one, or the standard, what I deem to be the standard size for normal people, didn't have the better camera on it. So you had to go to the Pro Max or something to get the zoom camera.
The third camera.
And that annoyed me. So if they do that again this year, I've got some big thinking about whether I'm going to continue worrying about getting the better phone for the camera capability, or whether I just go for the absolute base standard, cheapest one I can get, and get myself a digital camera, which is the thought process that I've been having now for a while. So,
here's the thing though, Gaz. Even the camera on the least of these phones is still a damn good camera.
Absolutely. But what it can't give you is that zoom capability, because I do use the zoom. I do use the optical zoom on this, and I quite like it. However, if they're going to keep chopping and saying, oh no, you've got to get the XS Pro bigger version, which looks like a tablet, to get the extra zoom, then I'm not going to be very happy about it. And I'm going to think,
it's amazing how many companies have a guy that sounds just like that.
and and so, I hope they don't go down that route. I hope they put, the same, but we'll see. We'll see next week.
But now my wife is still on. She's on a iPhone 5, I think. She likes the small size.
Yes.
Or maybe she's on. Maybe she's on the first gen S. Maybe she's on the original SE. You son of a bitch. I get jokes. Wish it was funny though. Not so close to the truth. Anyway.
Moving on.
When we were on that trip to Pennsylvania, she was having some problems with her phone.
Right. Okay.
And I'm on the SE2. Mine was working fine. And I'm thinking what I may do, because she likes the smaller size, as I said. So I may give her my phone and then either get a, reduced in price iPhone 12, because those are going to go way down in price, or maybe the 6.1 inch iPhone 13. Because I mean, I've had the SE2 now, I think almost 2 years.
Yep.
And it's been a great phone.
Yep.
Even the smaller size of the screen hasn't really bothered me that much. But I think I'm ready for a bigger phone again. Okay. So I may go to a 6.1 inch 12, or the 6.1 inch iPhone 13, depending on.
Yeah, well, it's the 6.1 inch, which I've got. And I do like the size, although actually most of my family, they're not sure whether they want me, because, the process we go through in the hand-me-down bit, they're all going, come on, that's quite a big phone, isn't it? And, so it's all about proportions, I suppose. And if they don't put the decent cameras, all three cameras on the 6.1, I will be disappointed. And I might then go, okay, fine, I'll just go for the smallest phone I can get.
Or just stay with the 11 for another year.
Well, yeah, that may be an option, because I'm more excited about something else which they might be bringing out, which you're going to talk about later. So
okay, well, let's talk about what they may be coming out with. So we're talking 13 mini, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, of all the various sizes that we just talked about. They're talking about new diagonal camera layout with the iPhone 13 Pro Max with a 120 hertz capable ProMotion display with always on functionality, ProRes video recording, which I don't think is not that big of a deal, because all of this, when they talk about, well, you can shoot 4K or 5K video with your phone and blah, blah, it's like, yeah, but where are you putting it? You're putting it in YouTube. You're putting it in all of these sites
which
that basically compress the crap out of it.
Yeah.
So does it really matter? But okay, you can do it. So hooray. With storage up to 1 terabyte. Now, recently, I haven't talked about it too much. Recently, I've been experimenting with a Samsung phone and their DeX capability, where you can basically
wash your mouth out with soap and water.
You basically plug a phone into a monitor and you have a desktop computer, which is something that I've been harping about for a while.
You have, but as soon as you stop harping on about it, that's when they'll do it.
Yeah. So what I need to do is stop talking about it so that it'll happen. Yeah. But I want the word out there that Guy said this is going to happen. This is this greatest thing ever, and then I'll say no, it's not going to happen. Next day, here it comes, right out the gate.
Absolutely.
The other thing I'm going to try is both my phone and my iPad connected up to a monitor and try some different stuff that way. But regardless, the fact that these phones are just getting more and more powerful just tells me that we're getting to that point pretty quickly. Some of the things about this phone, it's supposed to have, like, it hasn't affected me because I haven't had a phone that has this yet, a smaller notch. They're supposed to go to the A15 chip, and I wonder if they'll do that or if they'll just put an M1 in it. like they did with the iPad. Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, a new 5G chip from Qualcomm. So, they've kissed and made up. Larger batteries, reverse wireless charging. I'm not
Do you know
sure
what
what that means.
I was going to ask you? What does that mean?
Unless that's like you have two phones and one has less power than the other, and you can put them, because with the Q charging.
Are you saying you can cuddle them up?
Yeah.
Could
And
it
then
charge
they'll put
anything
power.
else? Or could it charge also anything else, which is a Q chargeable object?
Probably, if it vibrates.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from that.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. One of the other things they're talking about is a new Series 7 watch.
I've got the 4.
And am I on the 5 or the 6? I can't remember. Regardless, I'm very, very happy with the one I already have.
I'm happy with this as well. I'm also happy with the battery life. I know that Carl mentioned that he says that the watch still survives the full day, but like him, I am noticing there are times when it used to be able to survive certain activities, which I'm talking sporting here, which it would normally last no problem. But now it's starting. I have to make sure, like one of my tips, that I turn the Wi-Fi off so it's only on mobile data. Else it's always searching to try and find that Wi-Fi signal. And it's starting to struggle just a little bit on the battery. But actually, if they come out with some sort of process to be able to take and give you more information and take more readings from your body, then that may be something which I'd possibly look at. But I'm quite happy with my 4 at the moment, I must admit. A lot of people are talking about, well, I'll let you read through the options and then I want to talk about the bands if I can.
Expect to have a feature a number of upgrades, including a new design with squared off edges, larger casing sizes with bigger displays, that's always a good thing. Updated display technology, improved ultra wideband connectivity, which I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. A smaller, faster processor, bigger battery, new watch faces. When are you going to let us make our own? And potentially new color options. And for most of that, it's like, I don't care if it's silver or black. I just put whatever strap I want on it, and that basically becomes the color of the watch, because that's what everybody sees, really.
Yeah, you like a good strap on, don't you?
I do. Only if it vibrates.
I don't know what sort of innuendo you're trying to push along here, quite literally. Now, a lot of people have been talking about them changing the connectivity of the band to the watch and saying, why would they want to change it? They shouldn't change it. Now, don't let them change it. Now, if they change it for something which has got a connection on the strap, which then has a sensor on the strap itself, which helps give you more readings about your body, possibly blood pressure. Not saying that's what could happen, because I still think that's going to be a very difficult process for them to kick into, but there could be other things that they want to. Then I'm quite happy for Apple actually to change the band connection if they have to do that.
But it'll certainly increase the price of those bands.
Well, absolutely. But what I'd want them to do is make sure that they give you the option to be able to have a band with or without that connectivity, to then adjust the pricing of the band which may be available to you. But a lot of people saying, I hope they don't change the band. I don't think they will change the band unless it's for something like that, to be able to give them more sensors around your wrist.
Well, remember, one of the other things you're talking about here is larger casing sizes. So if the cases are larger, that means that the current 42 and 44 millimeter. Something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever the current sizes
they came
are.
down in size, didn't they? They actually came down in size.
No, originally it was 38 and 42.
Yeah, but I thought the case size actually came down because they made they actually gave more space on the top of the screen, which then meant that the case itself was actually decreasing rather than increasing, because the face was going close to the edge. Anyway, I've got the smaller one on the 4 option at this point in time. Now, I think where you were possibly going to go with that was if they've got a bigger casing, they could put more sensors on. Where I was going with the strap, though, was they could then have sensors at different points of your wrist. That's why I was thinking that they...
Yeah, but I mean, outside of this, and here we go. If you're not watching the video, you're not going to be able to see this. Outside of this part of your wrist right here,
yep.
What other information are you going to be able to get from like this part?
Well,
the top part of your wrist,
the bottom part of your wrist, the bottom part of the wrist was what I was really referencing.
Yeah, but that was, that's where whatever sensors, and that's also usually where they have the snap thing. Here I go getting technical.
Hey! I wasn't giving you. That's what they were going to do. What I've heard is a lot of people are saying, I hope they don't change the band. However, what I was hinting at was if they have to change the band because they are able then to produce a strap which has sensors in other places to give them more information, then I wouldn't be a downer on it. However, if they just change the band on the watches,
change the band,
and they change the band in, the way you've got to buy a whole load of new bands for your new watch that you buy, which I think would be a mistake just because they want to sell a load of new bands. That's a big mistake because a lot of people have got a lot of bands which they like and they use them on the various different watches.
That could be. Okay, one of the other things they're talking about is AirPods 3, not the AirPod Pros, but the lower price AirPod 3s, with a updated design closer to the Pro with shorter stems and a wider, shorter charging case, but without active noise cancellation, which if I honestly, I've never used that on the AirPod Pros that I have. Other new features could include a next generation wireless chip. And I'm laughing for various reasons that Gaz will understand.
Yes, I was going to mention.
Yeah,
you tonight. I saw just how much Guy loved his earphones.
Yeah, I haven't been able to use AirPods for podcasting since I switched to the M1. Force sensor controls. And something that I would find very helpful, a pressure relief system. Oh, wait, no, that's for AirPods. Okay, so
hey man,
I could use that. Just have I'm so stressed.
Can I just say, I used to work in hydraulics. A pressure relief system and AirPods, I just don't get it. That's not I'm not quite sure I get a pressure relief system, AirPods. No, I'm not sure I understand.
Well, of all of these devices that we've talked about so far, these are the ones that, three of them that people assume is what's going to be released. Are there any here that you're interested in personally?
Okay, so the phone, yes, according to what they do with it, and they don't strangle the camera. If they give us much better AR/VR, because on last week's show, you heard what Carl was thinking about how he loved his VR Oculus. And so if there are big steps in that, which I can't see, then, the phone I'm going to be interested in, but they're not going to mess about with the cameras as far as I'm concerned, like they did with the 12.
Yeah.
The watch, if they can come up with some really big changes and more health information, which can only be gained from it, because I am on the 4, so there have been a few things like there have been a few things which have developed since the always on, and there's something else which I'm forgetting.
It Pulse?
No, you can get Pulse on this, and you can get the defibrillator.
And the fall feature.
Yes,
you've just fallen.
I've got that.
I told you what happened to me in regards to that, right?
No.
I triggered it and didn't realize it, and all of a sudden I started getting frantic calls from both my sons and my wife. Are you okay? It's like
I've triggered it twice. Fine. Okay, so I've got an admission to make here. I'm not sure whether I made it on last week's
You talked
showing
about
up.
that you were like frantically reaching for the phone
Oh yes, yeah. So
because it was like,
basically,
shall I call the police? No.
yeah. Because basically, I've now got clips, or clipless clips. It's really weird. If you get a road bike, you can now get clipless clips.
Yes, you talked about that.
Yeah. So I
Even
spoke
though
about
that they're
that.
clips, there's called
Even though the clips,
clipless.
they're called clipless, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I triggered it as well, but I told it no. But I said I did fall over, but I'm okay.
Yes. I'm looking at a phone. I
Okay.
uh, I don't want to get another watch for a while. The one I have is fine.
Yeah.
AirPods I would have to go and see them actually work consistently with an M1 Mac before
Well,
I would do
if
anything with them.
In the UK, just try them out for 14 days. No good. Send them back.
That's true. That's true. And those are the AirPod 3s. I don't know if they're going to do AirPod 4s. Is there anything else that you'd like to see them release in this particular event, or do you think most of it
Do
can
we
wait
think
until?
it's really just going to be an iOS and Apple Watch event? Then we don't think they're going to be coming out with any other.
Well, I mean,
Um,
there's really no way to say.
no, I think they're going to be. Well, it's going to be streaming. I think they're going to be talking about streaming because it's California streaming.
Yeah. So
I'm
I would love to
dreaming.
see some big announcements in regards to content on Apple TV.
Yes,
Apple
which they
TV
need.
has, yeah, they very desperately. Apple TV has been constrained by the fact that everything that's on it is new stuff. They don't have, except through their partners with other streaming content providers. It's not like you can go and watch an old movie. They don't have access to any of that stuff on their own. Um, I would like to see Apple get a lot more aggressive with creating new content for the
Yeah,
Apple TV
yeah,
and
yeah.
stop screwing around. Because right now Disney, with their hooks into Star Wars and Marvel and their own Disney content, as well as National Geographic and some of those other things, as far as new and old content goes, they're eating Apple's lunch. And when you look at the efforts from Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Fubo, some of these other streaming platforms here in the US anyway, there are services out there where, like I'm paying $60 a month for Hulu, but it's like it's their full package. So I get NFL games, I get, a lot of college sports, I get all of their movies and TV shows and everything else that's associated with them. And there's a couple of services that are very similar to that. There's Fubo and there's YouTube TV. And this is where Apple, in my opinion, Apple needs to get to, where they're offering a service that's not just the new stuff that they have on Apple TV, but live programming from the area that you happen to live in, old movies, new movies. Just give us
Yeah.
make
I just
Apple TV the portal
I
that it
think
was promised to be.
yeah, I think they just need to enhance the amount of library stuff that they've got available. It's just there's just not enough at the moment. But
No, there really isn't.
I mean, they really need to expand that. But
Well, let me ask you one other thing, and this apart from Apple TV.
you know,
I don't
Ted
think there's
Lasso
going
on
to be
its Ted.
any.
Let me can I
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
Ted Lasso on its own is not worth the money that you pay.
No, but
It's a
that's a
great
nice
show.
bonus. That is a really nice
It's
bonus.
a great show, but it's not worth the money on its
Yeah,
own.
yeah. And I don't know if you've been watching Star Trek
Just for
Lower
all
Deck.
of you Americans, I know that I know that there are some people that in the UK that despise the BBC, but actually I'm quite a big fan of the BBC because of the amount of stuff they do on the website, on podcasts off the back of their radio stations, but they do have they do a podcast as well, just podcasts, but with radio, with the website, with the TV programs. There's loads of informative stuff which comes out of the BBC. Now, whether you hate them, fine, okay, you're going to hate what I'm going to say now. But actually, for 13 quid a month, I don't think we do bad out of the BBC here in the UK.
No, that's like what, 4 or 5 different stations?
Well,
Or is
no,
it
it's
more
too.
than
It's
that?
well, no, that yeah, well,
For
could be
video.
more.
For video.
Well, it could be more than that actually, because I'm not sure whether the BBC Three is going to continue. To be honest with you, but you get two mainstream stations which are pushing out stuff, all day. Some of it is repetitive. Yeah, I get that, but I really enjoy a lot of the stuff that comes out. But you guys are paying. I keep hearing, oh yes, I'm going to pay for YouTube. It's $60 a month, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what? And then you get. There are some podcast stations that go, yeah, for only $5 a month, you can join and get all that stuff. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Whoa, folks. I pay 12 quid a month for the BBC. No, I'm not going to be giving you that money for that.
Good
for your
enough.
content.
Good enough.
I might give you a bit of money here and there, but boy, I think we are lucky with the BBC. Some may say we're not. But actually, I think it's not so bad.
Well, what do you think there could be anything else as far as Mac stuff or other stuff that they could possibly release?
I don't think there's going to be a great deal more.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new on the Mac side until Apple is ready to come out with the next gen M chip, whether it's the M1X or the M2, whatever the hell they call it. Until they're ready to have, and they'll probably do it at the same time, the 15 or 16-inch MacBook Pro, the larger size iMac, possibly an update to some of the other ones that have already been transitioned over. But for the most part, I can't see them doing a bunch of mobile stuff, iOS stuff, and iPad stuff, and Mac stuff at the same time. I just don't see that happening.
I think actually this could be the event, Guy, where they can surprise us.
Well, I would love to be surprised. I know Tim Cook says that he wants to have one more kind of device that's going to define his legacy.
We spoke about that last week.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. Frankly, and I don't say this disparagingly, Tim Cook could retire tomorrow. And his legacy, his stewardship of Apple, I think for the most part would stand pretty well on its own.
Yeah.
So I don't think he really needs to have another huge thing. And I'm guessing by that you're saying that you're nodding your head.
Hit it. I am. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
See, unless you watch the video, you don't get to see the dancing.
Can I say, Nick Hall, am I now following you on Strava? That's a rhetorical question. No, it's not a rhetorical question. It's a question to Nick Hall. Anyway.
I already know the answer to it, but I'm asking it anyway.
Okay. Now, my tip here, folks, is unless you really are so desperate to buy something, don't buy straight after the event. Don't get buyer's remorse. If you want something, just take a deep breath. They'll tell you that there are shortages. Well, okay, fine. Live without the product for a little while. But don't buy straight away unless you absolutely know that that's what you want.
And you won't get it right after the event anyway. So why not wait?
My tip here is just breathe in, take a deep breath, think about your purchase. He's nodding his head. Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
I missed that last week.
Now, I might throw this in. No. That's for Gene. That's only for Gene. That's only for Gene Munster.
Well, I think I'm gonna throw this in.
Okay.
Do you hear, Earthman?
The owl at the end. That's what makes that recording.
Now, Guy. You've made up for my lack of a pick's sake, and you've got for two pick's sake picks.
Pick's sake
you've got two pick's sake
for sakes in a pick. And neither one of these are tech picks. Neither one of them are.
Ooh, nice.
As I have been going on about for the last week, we went to Pennsylvania and we had a wonderful time. And the first hotel we stayed at was okay.
Is that you in the bath?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right.
Bubbles in strategic places. So, the first hotel we stayed at was Best Western kind of play. It was okay. Nothing wrong with, nothing great about it. Could not get to this other hotel except for the last 2 nights that we were in Pennsylvania, or I would have had us stay here for the entire time because it was so great. The Inn at Leona is a fabulous place to stay with great staff and so much ambiance you could choke on it. And during the week, the rooms are reasonably priced too. It's like $150 during the week for these rooms, and great big rooms. Beautiful place. So if you're in the Strasburg, Lancaster area and you're looking for a place to stay, check out the Inn at Leona. Also, the Strasburg Railroad is a 45-minute blast to the past that if you don't enjoy, well, then you suck. That's what I say. And as I was telling you, COVID rules meant that they had to shut down the reservation systems the day before, so we had the entire dining car to ourselves. It was just the luck of the draw.
Right.
But it still would have been fun, even if it was full up. And there'll be links to both the Inn at Leona. No, it's not Leona. It's Leola Village and the Strasburg Railroad. And believe it or not, with all of that swell talk, I don't get nothing from either one of those links.
Can I just ask you?
Yeah.
Did the train get up to 88 miles an hour?
It did not.
No,
it's a relatively short run. It goes out like
wow, folks. Now, if you're a Brit, not only do they do the typical fantastic old American engine with the carriages on the back, they do a day out with Thomas.
Yeah.
That is funny.
You can have dinner on the train. You can have lunch on the train, which is what we did. Every once in a while, they have special events like a train robbery and stuff like that. And they make a couple stops along the way to some of the other touristy places that are there. It's just a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed it. And if next time we go to that area, we'll probably do it again. I'll try to get on the dinner train, I think, next time. But yeah, those are the two things. Inn at Leola Village, which is a wonderful place, and the Strasburg Railroad. And there'll be links in the show notes for both of those. Those are great. Wonderful place. Now remember, if you do a review for the MyMac.com podcast, and we've spoken about it on the show, you need to give us an email so that we can get you your Woo T, which is big W, big O, big O, big T, little I, little E. That spells Woo T. And over on Patreon, I've spoken about this person before, Christoph. I can never get his name right, but I have spoken about him before. Trush.
Go for Trush.
Okay, he did a donate, and thank you, Christopher. I really do appreciate it.
Christoph.
That's over. Christoph, yes, Christoph. That's over on Patreon. And if you would also like to contribute, like Christoph did, go to patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or pay a pal over at PayPal, paypal.me/MacParrot. Those are all the different ways you can help support the show. We really do. You don't have to. We'll keep doing it regardless, just to bug you. But yeah, maybe if you give us a lot of money, we'll stop doing it. Just a thought. Think about that.
Yeah.
But it would have to be
that's an idea.
Yeah. Stop the G-men by giving them money. Yeah. That's how that works.
We ought to do a Fund It page. Stop the G-men.
Kickstarter. Yeah. A reverse Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It's like, stop them from podcasting. Gaz, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say, we're not going to give you money, but how can we tell you that we're not going to give you money? How would they do it?
Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gaz, Maz, G-A-Z, M-A-Z. You can also contact us, both of us, on the Twitters, with a joint Twitter account Guy and Gaz. Twitter.com/Guy and Gaz. GYAND wait for it. Z.
Cars. Caught me out.
You can also send an email to feedback@mymac.com. That's FWDBACK at mymac.com.
Guy's the one.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Pay no attention to that guy behind the
I
curtain.
never do. Because
Guy says,
what does he say?
no fooling.
No, he never says that. He never says that because before he says that, he says this.
His name was Guy.
Well, he doesn't say that unless he's talking about someone else because
He's the guy.
he's the guy that he's talking about. Now,
You remember Guy?
I remember Guy. If you want,
Guy.
to what? Because what?
Guy was paid at 75 grand.
Well, I think he wasn't actually. But if
No.
you pay him 75 grand, he may stop.
Do we know it was a guy?
Well, it may not have been. But if you want,
An email from Guy.
how would they do it?
You can send it to the new email address, which is podcast@vertshark.com, as well as guy@mymac.com. It just takes so bloody long for it to reach me. I am Mac Parrot and Vert Shark over there on the Twitters. What else? We have a Skype telephone number. Yes. Losing my mind.
Oh, hang on. We've got a Skype telephone number.
Hello? It works now. It works. There was some question earlier if it was going to work or not. There's also, of course, the vertshark.com website, vertshark over on the YouTubes, where you can look that up and like, share, subscribe, all those things. So easy. But we have a Skype telephone number. And Gaz, that Skype telephone number is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or... Hello? Hello? 1 or +1, 703-436-9501. Or just don't dial 1 or +1. Go to Skype and then just dial 703-436-9501. That's all you got to do. And Gaz, we really, really do appreciate the people that download and listen. Listen to the MyMac.com podcast. We really do greatly appreciate the fact that you take the time to do so. And I think, Gaz, that we're good enough.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, and smart enough.
I'm nodding my head.
Very good. Oh, crap.
No.
That failed me for the last time.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
That's
yes.
good enough. And besides being good
Gaz,
enough
you've
and
got a
smart
point.
enough, is that Wilf Gonnet, Wilf, all kinds of cute Wilf pictures this week, Gaz. Thank you. He is a cute little dog. Woof, woof. People like us.
Vkashi je za razgodnost. Potreben lebeg razin si nisi zakel sichiti norosti. Guy,
Yes.
my wife, Mrs. G, kicked me out this week because of my bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions.
Really?
Don't worry, though. I'll return.
What? Isn't it?
Think about it. My wife kicked me out because of my bad Arnold. And he says he gets jokes, folks.
It just takes a while sometimes.
right, so you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home.